White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm, and we are coming to you from beautiful Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where this afternoon CSN Chicago presents White Sox baseball of Rick Renteria's 2017 White Sox, and they'll be butting heads with Paul Molitor's Minnesota Twins. Hi, everybody, and welcome. And a very happy Easter to each and all out there, and also for all my Greek brothers and sisters, Christos Anesti, Alathos Anesti. But this will be the rubber match of this three-game set. We took the opener by a score of 2-1, home run by Matt Davidson. Then yesterday, I'll tell you what, Stevie, that was just a clinic put on by Irving Santana.
I mean, there's times when you can't hit a veteran pitcher. That was yesterday, a one-hit shutout. But there's a couple of guys leading the way, and otherwise a team that's been somewhat challenged offensively. So we'll take a look at Javi Garcia off to a great start. This is a two-run single in Cleveland. Helped to nail down a win. And Javi continues to hit the ball all over. Matt Davidson has got huge power. This coming Friday night turned out to be a game winner. He's got 3 of them. He's driven in 9. And both of these guys have done just a great job. So hopefully the other guys can follow suit. There you see the last 5 games. They've been terrific for Davidson, terrific for Javi, who started out red hot, and he stayed that way. And hopefully they can key an offense that is run challenged at this point. Hopefully not the case today.
Well, there are a couple of pitchers out on that bump who have really been pitching well.
There is no doubt that you've got a couple of guys that are throwing it as well as they can throw it. That's Hector Santiago and James Shields. Shields to the mound after 2 brilliant performances. One against Detroit, one against Cleveland. And here he shows you the fastball's pretty good because he throws it by Ian Kinsler, who is tough to get a fastball by. Then a good breaking ball down and into Michael Brantley. That was the Cleveland edition of the year of James Shields, and it's been very good so far. On the other side of the equation is a man who's 4-1 lifetime against our ball club, and there you see him. It's Hector Santiago. ERA of 171 over the course of his career against his former team. James Shields is off to a great start. He's 500 against his twin team. Hopefully today he'll get the ball over the plate early as he has in the first 2 starts.
All right, rubber match of this three-game set, so sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Art by Toyota. Tested, trusted. Toyota. Toyota. Let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers. It's Miller time.
And a happy Easter to all of you who are observing Easter today. Just a beautiful day here in Minneapolis. The sun shining brightly. The high skies, a few wispy clouds. And now we're going to break for our national anthem.
He's 88-year-old Eugene Greger. Eugene served as a tank commander with the Army Armor 245th Tank Command of the 45th Infantry Thunderbirds, and once led his men through a night surrounded by 1,200 enemy troops on a fog-shrouded peak, earning the Bronze Star and Battle Star. Following his military service, he owned laundry and dry cleaning businesses in Red Wing and River Falls. He and his wife of 66 years, Betty, have 4 children, 9 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. Thank you, Sergeant First Class Greger, for serving our country. Singing our national anthem this afternoon, please welcome Twins audition winner, 13-year-old Aiden Colville from Cold Spring, Minnesota.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Yesterday's ball game was absolutely a gem thrown by Irvin Santana, and it's reminiscent of a game pitched against our ball club by Matt Harvey. First, we'll take a look at Irvin Santana, who had everything going. Pinpoint control, good use of the slider. He set him up with inside fastballs, wiped him out with that pitch blown away, and he did it all afternoon. Now, you might harken back a few years. Matt Harvey burst on the scene. It was 2013. He had a rocket for an arm, and you could hardly be any better than he was that night. A one-hitter through 9. That game went into the 10th. So a one-hit shutout for 9, and then Harvey had to give way in that one. But what stuff he had that particular night. As you can see, absolutely unhittable. No walks and 12 strikeouts. We remember that Matt Harvey. The Mets are hoping that this is a bounce-back year for him after a couple of injury-plagued seasons. So now let's take a look at how Ricky Renteria is going to line him up at Target Field for the finale of this series. Leary Garcia leading off, playing shortstop today. Tyler Saladino in the 2 spot with Jose Abreu playing first, batting third. Avi Garcia, Matt Davidson, Willie Garcia, the middle of the order. Then it's Yomer Sanchez, Kevin Smith, and Jacob May looking for his first major league hit, rounding it out. The defense, and Al Palmoliver is going to put him out there today behind Hector Santiago. It's Eddie Rosario, Byron Buxton, Robbie Grossman in the infield. Sano, Polanco, Dozier back in the lineup after missing yesterday's game, and Joe Mauer at first. Jason Castro gets the nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is Former White Sox left-hander Hector Santiago. There you look at 2 previous starts. He threw it very well. Not striking out a whole lot of people. He usually does that. And he's got a fastball that'll top out around 95. The umpires for the game this afternoon. Kerwin Danley has the plate. Tishner is at first. Adam Hamari at second. And the crew chief, Bill Miller, is at third. So on a bright, sunshiny afternoon, we're ready to kick it off. I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Steve, thank you. And once again, good evening, or I should say good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball as Leury Garcia will lead it off. Boy, he is making a name for himself as being Mr. Versatile. Made 3 outstanding plays in the game 1 of this series in center field.
He's made some terrific throws, and he's got a cannon for an arm, so his natural position is shortstop. That's where he is going to play today.
That ball scalded. Nice pick right there by Polanco. So right now let's check out our picks to click today, this afternoon. Mangio, our director and the crew, well, they went with Leury. Steve's going with Tyler Saladino. The fans went with Matt Davidson. George Jacobs and all the great folks at Windy City Limo and I, we're going to go with Jacob May.
Let's break him out of this. 0 for 17.
Yes, he is indeed. There's a strike from Hector, 29-year-old southpaw. Out of New Jersey, now resides in Litchfield Park, Arizona.
Last year for Santiago, he threw it very well for the Angels, and that precipitated a trade here. He wasn't quite as good here. He was 10-4 with the Angels last year, but he came here a high ERA, a 3-6 record, but 113 overall.
And here at beautiful Target Field, 339 down the left field line, 377 left center, 411 way out there in deep center, left center, 365 in right center, and 328 down the right field line.
Took a little something off that one. It looked like a straight change and had Tyler well out in front of it. Santiago still will throw that screwball that he used as a member of our White Sox. Normally an inconsistent pitch for him. Here is the change.
And a Jim Bandy.
Gets away with a high change. Normally you don't get away with these, but it's velocity as opposed to location that fooled him. It was down the middle. It was up. Good pitch to hit, just no contact.
So here's Abreu. And when you're looking for the express and you get the local, chances are you're going to miss it.
It's tough, especially if you can't read it.
Abreu 0 for 7 in this series, hitting at 205. No homers. He's driven in 5. Now make it 0 for 8 in the series, and a very quick 1-2-3 inning for Santiago after half inning of play. As their guys coming up to bat.
Brian Dozier back in the lineup with Kepler and Sano at the top. Mauer, Grossman, and Castro in the middle. And Jorge Polanco's had a nice series with Eddie Rosario Garcia. Matt Davidson, Leury Garcia, Tyler Saladino, Jose Abreu with Kevin Smith behind the plate. And our Lexus experience amazing starting pitcher is James Shields. 2 very good starts. ERA of 1.69. Probably more walks than he would like, but he's getting just about everything over the plate and getting ahead. That's the important thing.
Here's a man that hits him pretty good, Brian Dozier. One hopper, long peg, right over the top of the gun of Leury Garcia. Dozier now 11 for 30 against Shields with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs.
Leury knows he's got certainly enough time. Dozier can run, but a one hopper you're not going to beat out. And when you can throw it like he can throw it, you can take a little extra time.
Here's Kepler, the DH, hitting at 282. And our guys hitting at 215 as a team, and these guys hitting at 237.
And neither team quite where they want to be offensively, but that can turn around in one series.
Got the shift on for him.
Outfield is, however, straight away. Infield, they're playing him as a dead pull hitter. He's gone down the line a couple times in this series.
Two and one to count. The 24-year-old outfielder, pretty good player from what we've seen.
Yeah, I think there's nothing that he does poorly, and he's a solid player. The question will be, can he drive in the amount of runs and hit for power like you want your corner outfielders to do?
The one out walk, and that'll bring up the third baseman Miguel Sano. 1 for 6 in this series. Comes in hitting at 283, 3 homers and 12 knocked in. And he has faced Shields 5 times, has 1 hit, and that hit left the premises.
We're trying to get him to use right and right center. He's used it in this series, a couple of line drive rockets to right center field.
There are just some right-handed hitters that cannot use right and right center against right-handed pitching.
And we have some problems.
You can do it off left-handers, and that's why, you know, we talked about many times over the years, you're trying to beat guys arm side. And Shields, in this case, beat him to left field. Left-handers like Santiago beat him to right field. It's a lot easier to approach it that way than it is going up there and just saying, hey, I want you to go to right center off this guy. If he's a right-hander, that's tough to do.
Well, especially when you have a guy with the power of Sano, he can hit it forever. You just don't want him pulling off the ball, because if you do, there's no coverage on the outside part of the plate. It leads to a lot of strikeouts and a lot of ground balls to the left side.
Well, on the other side of that page, though, Steve, what are you going to do with a slider on the black? Not too much.
There's no.
What are you going to do with a fastball on the black? Not too much.
Nope.
So, I mean, there's no sense in looking for something you really can't handle. What you can do is walk up on top of that plate and force him to throw you inside.
Well, Sano has just about as much power as anybody, and they got another youngster they sent to AAA. We saw him last year, Kenneth Vargas. He's about the same size as Sano. He's a switch hitter with big power from both sides. So they got him in the wings if somebody just stops hitting or doesn't start hitting.
Big, powerful swing. Big, powerful man. 2-2 the count. A lot of guys in Cooperstown that use the approach of beating guys arm side. He gone. He knew it.
That was as good a slow hook as James has thrown this year. And he completely mystified Sano. He looks at it, it buckles the knees, and he can't readjust as that ball splits the middle of the plate. Good pitch, great time to throw it.
And that's what we were just alluding to. What are you going to do with a breaking ball on the outside corner? Nothing. Grab some bench. So here's Mauer. Hitting at 189, no homers. No extra base hits. We are endeavoring to get pitch strikes working again.
Been having a few difficulties with it. Yesterday we got it up and running, and it will be fine. It'll be here.
There's a strike. Well, if it's something mechanical, nothing you can do about that. Green and Barrett. Outfield swung well around to the left.
Kind of amazing because the infield over shifting, playing him as a dead pull hitter, which is where he hits the ground balls. Fly balls he slices to left and left center normally.
James, pretty good move to first.
Kind of slipped off the mound that time. He's got a great move. When he tries to pick you off, there's not many better right-handed moves to first than James Shields. It's one of the reasons why Kepler is not taking a big lead.
Kepler just 1 for 2 in stolen bases. And that's flipped into left field. Willie Garcia in foul ground makes a catch, so a nice inning right there by James Shields. State Farm, and we'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on Licktel Communications in Ligonier, Indiana. Ligonier, yes.
Well, Baltimore put their closer on the disabled as Zach Britton is having some arm difficulties after just an enchanted year last year. At 47 saves, nobody hit him at all, and this year on the shelf early, but they found a way to work around that. You don't need a closer when you're up 11-2 heading into the bottom of the ninth in Toronto, and that's how Baltimore finds themselves today.
Last year was almost what you would call an unbelievable year for Britton.
Well, he I mean, you looked at his stuff. You're throwing 95-mile-an-hour sinkers, and nobody can even put the ball in play.
There's Avi. Davidson on deck and Willie Garcia in the hole. Yeah, I mean, that sinker last year was just unbelievable.
Yeah, Britton went from an adequate starter to an overwhelming closer.
That's a fair ball. Shoots that one by Sano. So Avi will pull up as he continues to swing that bat. He came into this ball game hitting .421.
Santiago does like to go inside to the right-handers, and here was one inside. When it hit the bag, there was no chance for Sano.
And Avi had a 9-game hitting streak snapped yesterday by. Well, I'll tell you that Santana that was clinic time.
Well, he wasn't able to draw a walk, so that puts us on base in every game, all 10 of them to this point.
After the game, we were talking about it, and that's just a game right there. That's baseball. You just got beat. It's just that simple. Guys spotting it like that, getting 3 pitches over.
He's given up 5 hits in 22 innings to start this season. He's 3-0 and ERA of .41.
Matt pops it up right side. Wind must have a little something to do with out there. It's Grossman.
Yeah, the wind is very much a factor today, and it's swirling in this ballpark. There are some flags that tell you it's blowing out to right center. There's some others that will tell you that it's blowing across to the right field corner. So with a swirling wind, you never really know. You just know that there was a lot of drifting on that pop-up.
Well, that's our ballpark at home.
Yeah, same thing. You can't tell.
Guaranteed rate. Lance Johnson used to say it was the toughest center field to play in the American League because of that swirling. So here's Willie Garcia. He had 4 good at-bats the other night. You very seldom see a rookie make his major league debut and have 4 good at-bats.
I thought that he looked very good. Even the double play ground ball had something on it.
Well, that was a good at-bat.
Yeah,
he fought off a lot of tough pitches.
Hit it right to Kinsler and made the play. We haven't seen a screwball yet from Santiago. His fastball does have some deception, because although it's 92-93, hitters make it look, and to them it appears like it's moving a little better than that.
Well, on the straight change and or the screwball, one of the best approaches that your real good hitters use, and that as soon as they see it's off speed, they try to knock him off the mound. That way they don't pull off of it. Got him right there. 2 down.
Well, that was a fastball, and Willie appeared to be looking for anything but a fastball down the middle. This has got some movement on it, but it gets the whole plate. So down on strikes.
Here's Sanchez. Homer played second base last night. Went 0 for 3. Gap out there in left center. And that's where that ball is hit. Carry. It will. Oh, no. Dadgummit. Avi was going to score easily, and at 1 hop's ground rule double into the bullpen.
All it has to do is hit the wall, and it's a 1-0 game. It didn't. It isn't. And Avi will have to go back to third. Elmer hits the daylights out of this one. Rosario thought he had a shot at it. Buxton too far to go for him. And nobody can get it. The hard bounce off the warning track took it out of the park.
Here's Kevin Smith. Took that pitch nicely. Kevin caught game 1. We won that ball game 2-1. Dylan Covey, his major league debut, went 5 1/3.
And for a major league debut, after he got out of trouble in that first inning, he threw the ball well.
All right, Jacob May on deck. So we'll see what they want to do with Kevin. That ball hit high into right center field. So we catch a bad break there. The ball bounced over the fence into the bullpen for a ground rule double, costing us a run.
Check during the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tune in to the hometown call for Game 3 tomorrow. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. with Blackhawks pregame live. What a tough game that was last night. The Blackhawks just got overwhelmed by a very aggressive Predator team.
That Foley and Eddie Olczyk. There's a pair of be a full house right there. Two great guys as well as being great announcers. So here is Grossman. Takes ball 1. Grossman to 296, 1 homer. He's driven in 4. 2 for 6 in this series, and 2 for 6 lifetime against Shields.
One of the reasons why Grossman got over to this ball club and has stuck with him and getting his opportunity is he gets on base a lot. So normally when you hit him at the top of the order, he's on base to set it up for the run producers in the middle. Today hitting in the middle. Somewhat hard to believe, but true. The first White Sox pitcher to start the season with 2 straight starts of 5+ innings and 2 or fewer hits since Melito Perez in 1991. Doesn't appear that it would be all that difficult, but apparently it's pretty difficult.
Well, there's a blast from the past. Melito Perez couldn't throw anything straight. Up high.
Jason Castro off to a very good start himself in the on-deck circle. Beautiful ballpark on just a gorgeous day.
So the dreaded leadoff walk. Second walk issued by Shields. And here's Castro, the catcher.
They got Castro for his defensive prowess, his handling of a staff, and his ability to frame pitches. All of that he can do and still has done. But they've been surprised at the bat. The bat has really come alive here. 7 driven in already.
0 for 4 in this series and 3 for 12 lifetime off Shields. Just a decent lead by Grossman.
Well, Castro's had a very good eye, and that's something that also makes him very happy. He's drawn 9 walks already. His on-base percentage is .469. So when you are drawing your walks, normally you're going to hit the ball because you're seeing it well.
Gap out there in right center. Yanks that one foul. So the count hangs at no balls, 2 strikes.
Most of Castro's power is to left and left center field. That's one of the reasons why they're playing him in a severe shift in the outfield and playing him as a dead pull hitter in the infield, pretty much defending him almost exactly as they defend Joe Mauer.
One and 2. Sox will conclude the series today. Board our charter and head on up to New York.
With the Yankees playing pretty good baseball at 7-4 heading into today, they're winners of 6 in a row.
Tries to ace him. Tomorrow, a couple of southpaws in that game. Derek Holland for us. Jordan Montgomery for them. Tuesday. Miguel Gonzalez for us. Hard throwing right-hander Luis Severino for them. And Wednesday, Dylan Covey making his second major league start against Masahiro Tanaka. He gone. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for catchers. That's a good pitch right there, but a lot of times even when they're rung up on a bad pitch, they can't say too much.
Yep, they can say very little because they got to entice the umpire to be good to his pitcher.
We had a Kenny Suarez was a catcher on our team in Kansas City. And didn't play a lot, but when he did play, he got called on what he thought it was a bad pitch. As that's hit right at him, Jacob, almost in his tracks. Yeah, when Kenny would get called on what he thought was a bad pitch, he'd turn around and the umpire said, "Good call." I'm telling you, I don't see how he did it.
It's actually a wise choice, seeing
It
as
is.
they have your at bat squarely in the palm of their hands.
And, you know, the funny thing about it, a lot of times an umpire will miss a call, and he knows he missed it. And then Kenny would turn around and say, "Good call." And once again, a very happy Easter to each and all out there. Greek brothers and sisters, Christos Neste, Alethos Neste. Next time this will happen, I was told, Easter on the same day will be 20-25. Rosario 1 for 4, comes in at 167. He did go.
Bill to Bill Miller and said, yes, indeed. You went a little too far.
Well, this has been a well umpired series so far.
A few complaints, not too many.
First game, there were none. Adam Hamari was solid. That's high and to left. Watch out. Oh, man. That wind is definitely a factor. Meanwhile, look at the third scoreless.
Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
No score, top of the third. We're in the finale of this 3-game series. And this is a rubber match if you're just tuning in. Jacob May will lead it off. Jacob still looking for his first major league hit. He is 0 for 17.
If he can push bunt, bunting it right at Dozier at second, you can beat Santiago to the bag because it's going to draw Mauer off the bag. If he decides to go that way with Mauer a step or so in back of the first base bag.
Next first pitch strike. One and one to count. Change up. He's got a good motion with it.
The only time he really gets in trouble with that is when he rolls it over with that screwball action. It sometimes stays up in the zone. That's a problem.
Santiago last year was 4-0 against us with a 1.03 ERA.
Tried to throw that fastball by him, but Jacob was able to stay alive.
watching that 3-game set starting tomorrow night. All night games there in the Bronx against the Yankees. The game tomorrow night will be over WGN, and on Tuesday and Wednesday, right back here on CSN Chicago.
Yankees have their very talented young catcher Gary Sanchez on the disabled list.
Double clutch right there.
The Astros having just a slight discussion with Kerwin Danley. He thought it was good enough. Kerwin did not agree with him.
And once again, we're endeavoring to get pitch tracks up and running for you. The chopper 2 hopper. We don't have a whole bunch of guys swinging a bat. Thank goodness for Avi and thank goodness for Matt Davidson.
They've both been swinging it well.
Oh.
But if they're going to drive in big runs, they've got to get some of the table setters in front of them to get on base.
Here's Leury. He's the only one that's hit the ball hard off Santiago, leading off the ball game. Hit a hard one hopper. Yes, he did. To Polanco at short.
Looked like it got a good piece of Kerwin Danley.
Yep.
Might have caromed off Castro's mask also. We'll take another look. It did get the mask and then the thigh of Kerwin Danley. So a 2-for-1 on that foul ball. I'm pretty sure that doesn't feel too good.
The 0-2 pitch.
Well, there's a huge gap in left center field if Leury can get out in front of one.
Yeah, well, that kind of gap. With anybody else, Buxton out there, you might be thinking inside the park.
Get to it a little more quickly.
And you can enjoy all the benefits of being a White Sox season ticket holder by purchasing a prorated full or split season ticket package. Now, the purchase, visit whitesox.com or call 312-674-1000. Here's Tyler. Saladino struck out on a changeup. Oh, 1 to count.
Got Rosario way off the line in left field. Some of the slow breaking pitches, that's where it could go. But the charts say that he's an off-field hitter in the outfield at least.
Huge gap in left center. Saladino. All right.
Yes.
High and wide. Steve is one of those guys that not that was a sneeze. He can't sneeze once.
No.
There's going to be 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah, anywhere from 5 to 7, and that one got him.
So that'll bring up Brave.
Hector wants it inside, and he gets it there, but it catches a piece of the lead elbow.
Oh yeah, I remember one of those little episodes on the plane one time. It must have been 10 or 11.
Yeah, unfortunately. A very pro-histamine.
Brave grounded out to short. Now 0 for 8 in the series. That ball hit hard, but they got a man there. And now they can go for 9.
All season long on CSNChicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape. And Dan next week is going to make a tour of our minor leagues. He's going to come back stocked with reports on all of our very exciting young talent. We're anxious to see that. Dan Hayes.
Yes, we are. And there's a lot of it down there. So here, Byron Buxton, 3 for 6 with it. A couple of home runs off Shields. Stay in here. He's off the end of the bat. And he just, thank goodness, was a little quick.
Yeah, the fortunate part was it was off the end of the bat and still almost got out of the park. He's very strong. He's a dead pull hitter and lifted a towering fly ball. Not much room to spare for Willie out in left field. He drifts back and he's got plenty of room to make the catch.
Now they go back to the top of the order with Brian Dozier, who got it out to Leary at shortstop. Huge gap out there in right center. So a big shout out to David Novak and his family, who went to some friend's house and they all got together and watching the game today, rooting the White Sox on.
So we've got the shadows in this 3-10 start have drifted across home plate. Visibility should be, especially on anything breaking, should be very difficult.
Also, it makes it a little tougher in today's game. Look, pitch cast is back. They got it up and running. What makes it a little tougher is because there's very little seams on the ball today. They're tight down in there. That's just foul. Years past, they were a little higher. You had a little bit of chance to see it.
And occasionally, a pitcher would take his thumbnail and rub it across the seams to lift them up just a touch, because it certainly helps tighten up both the slider and the curveball. Some of my friends told me that.
don't think you can hear quite as many curveballs today as you could in years past. Because of those seams, or non-existing seams today. Davidson, 2 down.
Well, there's another factor also, and certainly the seams are a bigger factor. But, you know, for a while, Hawk, when the umpires all went to the inside chest protector, the balloon chest protector, which the American League used all those years, when that went by the boards, it became more difficult to get a big curveball called for a strike. And so a couple of generations of pitchers really went to sinker slider type pitchers. The slider easier to call than the big curveball. Now the big curveball is coming back into vogue once again.
I don't know
last
about
3
a
or
couple
4
of
years.
generations, but there was a long time there that you couldn't get a curveball call.
Nope. Because if it came over and the catcher caught it as a strike, it came over high. If he dug it out of the dirt, it came over for a strike, but they're not going to call a pitch in the dirt a strike.
That's base hit. Kepler gets the first hit for Minnesota. So we can cancel the postgame show. And a reminder, join White Sox charities at C.J. Wilson Mazda in Orland Park on Saturday, April 22nd from 11 to 1 for the car raffle kickoff party. You get an autograph from White Sox, our Rookie of the Year in 1983, Ron Kittle. And you can win also a lot of great prizes. So thanks to the friends at C.J. Wilson Mazda for their support of this season. Kitty, 35 homers, 100 RBIs in 1983. Big man from Gary.
Surprisingly, James Shields, who has thrown the ball very well in his previous 2 starts and today, hadn't given up a single until that one to Kepler.
Sano got his knees buckled on a curveball. Strike 3. His first at bat. Yeah, I remember that period there where it was almost a joke.
And that's why pitchers went to the slider. Much easier to call. And the sinker, if you can throw ground balls, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Yes. And count 1 and 2.
Sano wasn't particularly happy with the appeal to Todd Tishner, but when he sees that, he'll realize he probably went around too far.
One on, 2 out, 1 and 2 the count. He gone. Another hook, another strikeout, and we're into the 4th. No score.
game at 4:30 for Chicago Bulls playoff coverage. Please switch over to CSN Plus to watch the White Sox game in its entirety, and that will be at 4:30.
Top of the 4th inning in a scoreless tie. Ivy singled his first trip. Will lead it off. Davidson on deck. Garcia in the hole. That's Willie Garcia.
He got eaten up by the spin. That ball came off the end of the bat, and Dozier, you know, in normal play, he backed up one step to make the play, and all of a sudden the ball took an abrupt right turn on him, and he just couldn't corral it. This is the most unusual spin. Dozier's right there. I mean, he is literally right there, but the ball takes a spin to his throwing hand side, and he just can't come up with it. So it does go as a base hit.
Look, he gave.
Wasn't much you can do on that one.
No. So here's Matt. He popped up to right field his first trip. Outfield slightly to the right. A little gap out there in left center. Just a short lead. And there's the strike. Todd Frazier had to leave the game last night because of recurring flu-like symptoms. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a base hit. Now we got something going. First 2 men aboard. And then Matt Davidson made some kind of play. Started a double play last evening.
This time he goes through the vacated right side in the shift. And that's something brewing. 2 on, nobody out on 2 singles.
Well, that's the way you got to try to approach a left-hander. Beat him arm side if you're a right-handed hitter. So here's Willie Garcia. Hector worked him over his first at bat. And that ball just does go foul. Finally froze him with a fastball for a call third strike.
Pretty good idea, as Willie had that ball in fair territory for quite some time, realizing that if they do touch it, it's going to be a sacrifice at the very least. That ball just trickled foul. Now Santiago having a word with Sano on exactly where he wants him to charge, whether it's to the third base line if he stays back or straight ahead.
That was a dangerous play for them. Could have been a very big break for us.
Yeah, Polanco decided to sneak in behind Avi at second base, and when Santiago delivered the ball, Polanco was standing at second. There was nobody home on the left side of the infield except Sano, and he was over on the line.
Nothing in 2. Now 1 and 2.
That was that screwball.
1 out.
Wasn't exactly in the zone, but pretty close. And too close to take, as it turned out. When Danley liked it.
Here's Sanchez. He doubled. One hop into the bullpen and left center field. Got a bad break. If it hadn't bounced in the bullpen, Avi was going to score.
Another straight change, caught it off the end of the bat.
Big pitch coming up to 1-1. And it goes Sanchez way.
Santiago went in a 3-team deal that included the Angels and the Diamondbacks. The Angels received Tyler Skaggs along with Santiago. We got back Adam Eaton, which turned out to be a very good Sox trade. The Diamondbacks got Mark Trumbo as the principal in that 3-team deal.
Elmer trying to go to the right side. Good approach to that pitch. Another good job to fight that one off. Our hitters and their hitters both know that it's been a fairly wide plate so far in this game.
And with 2 strikes, you're up there just trying to put the ball in play.
Sano can't get it.
Sano did not handle the ball cleanly. Had he handled it cleanly, it's going to be a double play and out of the inning, but it's a break. We're going to get 4 outs this inning because Sano did not come up with it cleanly to start with. Right there is that little hesitation. That slight bobble was enough to keep the inning alive and enough for Yolmer to beat the play at first base. On another step and a half extra from Sano.
There's our catcher today, Kevin Smith.
See if the boys can make them pay for lack of execution on what should have been an inning ender.
Kevin came to the plate back in the second, man on second, third, 2 out, and line to center field.
One of the things that Hector has always done, which is the reason he's still in the major leagues, is that he likes to throw inside to right-hand hitters, and that helps set up his changeup away. Pretty decent crowd here on this Easter Sunday, and they're trying to encourage Hector to end the inning.
Yeah, almost 26,000 last night.
Yep, not bad.
We go to the bottom of the 4th, still no score.
30 for Chicago Bulls playoff coverage. Please switch over now to CSN Plus to watch the White Sox game in its entirety. Or all of it, whichever comes first.
Mauer will lead it off here in their half of the fourth inning. It'll be Mauer, Grossman, and Castro. Mauer for one fouled out to Willie Garcia in left field. High. That wind is a definite factor. So one out, and you can see our Sox take on the Cleveland Indians on Friday, April 21st at 7:10. Now the first 20,000 fans in attendance will receive a White Sox tote bag presented by MLB Network. So stay after the game for a post-game fireworks show presented by MLB Network. And to purchase your tickets today, just visit whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. Mauer now 0 for 2, and here's Grossman. He walked to lead off the bottom of the second inning. Takes a strike.
James has very good command of that backdoor cutter. He starts it just off the outside corner to the left-hand hitters, and it snaps over that corner, and he gets a lot of called strikes with it.
Had him off balance. So the count 2-2.
The curve drifted high and away to Grossman.
That's fair ball. Now Avi gets to it very quickly and makes a perfect peg. That ball would have been right on the money, and Grossman would have been a gone goose. Meanwhile, that's their second hit.
That slider low and in is taken down the line. Jose was on the line, just couldn't flag it down. And when they wanted to go in back of Grossman, no place to throw it at first. So Avi does a nice job of making sure he doesn't get to second base, which turned out to be a very big play.
Here's Castro. Struck out, called out his first trip.
Framing skills last year of Castro were among the league's best. He actually, statistics say he saved 17 runs defensively.
High into left center field. Jacob makes the catch, gets it back in.
That 17 run save for catchers, that's the third best in the major leagues. So they knew they were getting the guy that was going to get him more strikes, help the pitching staff, and hitting was a bonus.
That's a very subjective category right there.
It is that. But they're quantifying just about everything, so they might as well quantify
yeah,
that.
That's exactly right. You know, why not? Polanco lined out to Jacob May, almost in his tracks. Well, he's been swinging about well this series.
He's off to a great start in the fact that he can play a few different positions. He's become the everyday starting shortstop, even though he's a lifetime second baseman. But he's barreled it up quite a bit in the early going. This is the 6th time we've seen him, and Polanco has swung it just about as well as anybody in this lineup.
Better. Yeah. He's hit the ball harder than anybody in the lineup. Two and 0 the count. How about Ramirez last night at Cleveland? 2 3-run homers.
Well, he helped the pelting of Justin Verlander by hitting a 3-run homer relatively early in the game. That little guy can really hit.
Yes, he can. He cues that one. Now, Grossman. Good job by Willie Garcia to come in.
Another ball cued off the end of the bat. And with that type of spin, taking it toward the line, Matt Davidson goes over, tries to corral it, and he can't. He was playing well off the line. He can't smother it. No harm, no foul, because Garcia does get to it quickly.
Well, you and I were discussing that before this game. Indians and Verlander. You got to feel like that they got him as far as a tell on what he's throwing.
Well, they were on just about everything yesterday, and this is a guy that started off the season in Justin Verlander, throwing it as well as he ever has. Against us, he looked terrific, and at Cleveland just pelted him.
Well, it's a lot easier, really. It should be. Let me reframe that. It should be a lot easier now to get somebody, and by that I mean pick up something in the delivery that will tell you what he's throwing because of all the video.
Yeah, you can sit and watch and watch and watch, and everybody has some sort of a tip-off as to what they're throwing. Sometimes it's a little more subtle than others.
Rosario popped up to left field his first trip.
But you played with hitters that didn't want to know what was coming. That amazes me.
Me too. I mean, I could not believe it.
Yeah.
I'd go up to a couple of guys and say, hey, I got this guy. You want it? No, I don't want it. Meanwhile, I go for 4. And I mean, not even being dangerous.
No, that's a huge advantage. And unfortunately, some guys feel uncomfortable when they're told what's coming because they're deathly afraid of getting crossed up, looking for something it's not there.
That's
well,
right.
I mean, if that happens, it happens.
You know, and you know, almost every one of the guys that was like that, which I knew a lot of guys over the years that were like that, almost every one of them was a bad hitter.
Well, that's one of the reasons why.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
I've always believed it's just as easy and maybe easier to pick up signs from the catcher and the tells that he might have.
We had that too. We had some managers, especially a guy like Alvin Dark, who was an outstanding manager. He managed San Francisco, he managed Kansas City, he managed Oakland, he managed some really good ball clubs. If you weren't playing that day, he'd come over. I'm not talking about pitchers now, I'm talking about position players. And he'd say, all right, you. Only thing you're going to do today is try to get something off this pitcher. And it was served 2 purposes. First of all, sometimes they got something off the pitcher, but it kept them in the game.
Well, that's the major thing.
Yeah, it kept them in the game because they had to sit there and study that pitcher, every pitch.
It's actually the difference between watching a game and observing the game. Because if you're observing the game, you're doing it to try to pick something up to help the ball club. If you're watching it, well, everybody can watch it.
And there's a lot of cases of guys sleeping during the game too, putting that hat down over the sit the right field corner of the dugout, put that hat down over the left eye.
A little confusion. So now they've got it straightened out. That'll most likely mean no sign given. James knows what Kevin Smith wants. He might have told him if he wanted something else, but normally you don't hang a sign after you had that conference on the mound.
2 on, 2 outs, a 2-2 pitch.
Fortunately, that one missed. Didn't miss by much. Last year, Rosario got off to a decent enough start, but then just absolutely stopped hitting. When that happened, they sent him down to the minor leagues. Not like they did with Byron Buxton. Buxton came roaring back and did a good job, and Rosario put together a decent year.
Full count. Well, just tuning in. No runs on 4 hits, no errors for us. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for them. They have stranded 5. They have stranded 3 up to this point. Hopefully, it'll be 5 for them as well.
The real advantage the Twins have here, 3-2 pitch. Both runners will be going. It's a lot easier to score.
And that'll load him up. 3rd walk issue.
Well, for those of you that didn't hear, if you're watching on CSN, we're going to be leaving the game at 4:30 for Chicago Bulls playoff coverage. Please switch over now to CSN Plus to watch our game in its entirety.
So sacks packed with Twinkies. And here's Buxton. Breaking ball strike. He caught one off the end of the bat. High towering fly ball in the left field, taking Willie Garcia back up almost against the fence. As I mentioned, he does have a couple of home runs off Shields. He's 3 for 7 with those 2 homers. And very quickly they count 0-2.
2 curveballs, 1 up high, that one down low. 1 called, 1 swinging, and there are the bases full of Twins.
Kevin making sure he kept it in front of him.
Tried a real slow breaking ball that time. Very similar to the one he dropped on Sano the first time he faced him, to get the big man to swing through one in the first inning.
Well, either hard high or slow low right here. He gone. And that'll retire the side. We're into the 5th. Still no score.
Sox Talk podcast featuring Chuck Garfien, Dan Hayes, and more. It's available on iTunes or the Google Play Store. Sox Podcast.
5th inning. Jacob May will lead it off. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to short.
Well, here's one for you that you probably are not going to see all that often. A game postponed in Oakland. They rained it out. That's pretty unusual.
Yeah.
It was between the Astros, who were 8-4 in the early going, and the A's.
Ball came up for him. If it stays down, he's got a chance.
Very good play and a good job of hustling by Santiago as he was able to just barely beat May to the bag. Lauer comes up with it. He thinks about running there, but he can't get there and flips it to Hector, who beats him by a step, and yet another head first into first base move. Delightful.
Well, when you're 0 for 18, you think it might be a chance. You know, it's after having such an outstanding spring, it's very, very tough on Jacob to go through the streak right here. But on the other side of that page, you got to understand that you're better off just running through the bag instead of taking time to get in position to dive.
Yeah, because for him, getting his opportunity to play, the last thing you want is a hand, wrist, shoulder, elbow problems that occasionally comes when you jam it into that first base bag.
Plus, we did it, and they proved to us. I always thought you could dive in there and get there maybe a quarter of a step quicker. But they proved to us in spring training that you get there faster by running all the way.
Running and lean through, in this case, the bag, as opposed to leaning through the tape for the sprinters.
One and two the count to Leury.
Nice play by the ball attendant. That was a one-hop rocket. Wait a second. Follow that young man and see where he winds up. He's got good hands.
Dozier. So 2 down and come out to the park April 24th through the 26th as our Sox take on the Kansas City Royals. All fans in attendance will receive a 2017 wall calendar featuring White Sox legends including the Big Hurt Frank Thomas, Mark Burley, and Paul Konerko. So purchase your tickets today at whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME.
KC's starting to play a little better baseball. They defeated the Angels 1-0, limiting the Angels to just 2 hits this afternoon.
There's a bullet. Saladino and Wolfen kid halfway home, still scoreless. Top of the order, Dozier, Kepler, and Sano. Dozier's grounded to short, and he is grounded to third. Next first pitch strike.
I don't think Brian is enamored with that first call, but he's stuck with it.
This guy's fun to watch. 0-2 the count.
You just as soon not want to throw that last cutter when the visibility is better, because it was right over the middle of the plate. Dozier just swung through it.
Just got a piece of it.
Shields continues to throw the ball pretty well. Got out of a jam last inning. Gave up a base hit to Grossman. Another one to Polanco to go with the walk to Rosario. But struck out Buxton to get out of the inning and keep it scoreless. The 0-2 pitch to Brian Dozier. And that breaking ball slipped out of his hands. The defense is defending him the way they should, because Dozier is a dead pull hitter. And they are swung around toward left and left center field in the outfield. That one hit very well. Jacob May off to the races, trying to run it down, and he can't get to it. This ball goes off the glove, and here comes Dozier. Gene Glynn is going to wave him home. Here comes the throw. Here comes Dozier. Safe at the plate. Inside the park home run. And a 1-0 Minnesota lead as Brian Dozier, with excellent speed as the ball kicked away and moved back from left center towards center field. Dozier was off to the races, and third base coach Gene Glynn just kept them going. So our fourth home run replay, it's a slider down. Dozier hit it awfully hard, and Jacob May at the last instant has it carry him off the glove and kicked to straightaway center field. And a good head first dive at the plate, and he's in. Second home run of the year, third driven in for Dozier.
So here's Kepler, a walk and a single. Takes first pitch strike. Jacks it up. Well, we've had two bad breaks in this game. One on Sanchez double, ground rule double, that kept Garcia from scoring. And then that ball caroming well away from Jacob May off the end of his glove.
Looked like he might have skinned his throwing hand as he dove after the ball, and I think that's exactly what he did. Hopefully he didn't jam his wrist.
2-1 pitch. Watch out. 1 out.
That's
that
good.
Is the first inside the park home run for the Twins since Byron Buxton, 2016.
It was the last game of last year.
That's a long way to run that hard. Well, you know, he wasn't running that hard down to first. He was looking at the ball. Or he could have made it a lot,
a lot easier.
Here's Sano, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Takes ball 1. You're going to have to score anyway. So, and he's he's hitting.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to be careful here because I can't believe Paul Mahler would give his biggest home run here the stop sign or the take sign here.
Sucks it up and throws him out. 2 down. The 2017 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Low mortgage rates and a fast, easy process. Learn more at rate.com. Here's Mauer. He's fouled out. Willie Garcia in left, and he's popped up to Jacob May in center. There's the strike. 1-1 to count. Hey. 1-2 the count. Guys, 0-4-0 for our guys. Take your time, get plenty of it. But the inside the park home run by Brian Dozier. We're into the 6th. They lead it 1-0.
Coverage begins at 5:30 with White Sox pregame live, or you can stream the game on NBC Sports app or at csnchicago.com.
1-0 bad guys here in the top of the 6th inning. It'll be Abreu, Ivy, and Davidson. Abreu 0 for 2. He's now 1 for 13 lifetime off Hector Santiago. And 0 for 9 in this series. Make it 0 for 10.
Take a look at that hand. That looks like took a little skin off as he hit the track. So Hermie takes care of it, as he does so well. Meantime, only 69 pitches. We're 1 out in the 6th inning. So Hector has done it on a minimum of pitches, getting a lot of mileage out of his straight change.
We have 4 hits, and here's Avi. He has 2 of them. Take strike 1. And the count 0-2.
Eight ground ball outs so far off Santiago, mostly on that straight change because he's a high fastball pitcher, and that yields fly balls.
2 down. Five strikeouts now for Hector. And you can join the 2017 Sox Pride Club for exclusive ticket offers, membership gifts, game day opportunities, ballpark tours, MLB.com game day audio for your computer, and more. So visit SoxPrideClub.com to join today. Here's Matt. He's 1 for 2. Did not go. He's got the catbird seat. 2-0. Outfield to the right, gap in left center.
It's a very good pitch. It was a straight change, which identifies to the hitter as a fastball because of the spin on it. And so he did get a good piece of it, but he's well out in front. It's pretty much down the middle, but because of the velocity, which was about 10 miles an hour less than his fastball, Matt got out ahead and yanked the foul.
Touch him up right here, big guy.
Was a young man after that souvenir, and unfortunately, just as he got to where the ball was going to hit, one hop off the limestone, it bounded back into the lower deck, and he was minus the souvenir.
Payoff. Good rip.
That was a good one to get to. Was the low fastball, thigh high fastball, very hittable even with his visibility. And now Santiago and whoever will follow will be immersed in the shadows like the hitter.
One, 2, 3 inning, and Santiago leads it 1-0.
hopes to develop consistency this year, and he describes what that means to him.
For me, it's definitely consistency. I want to be a consistent starting pitcher. I'll go out and give the team a chance to win every time. And so, to do that at the big league level, it takes, a strong work ethic. It takes being able to repeat your delivery well, being able to slow the game down when it starts to speed up. So I'm basically trying to put all those things together, be able to command all my pitches for strikes and, be able to go out there and win games as often as possible.
Grossman hits first pitch, pops it up, foul territory, right side. 1 out. Grossman now 1 for 2, will walk, a single, and then pop up.
Good straight change on the first pitch, something James hasn't done a lot of, but did it effectively that time. He's had a good curveball once again today. Giving up just 4 hits, 1 unfortunately the inside the park home run.
Castro 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Takes first pitch strike.
Bartolo Colon won a ball game, his first of the year. What is he, 100?
103.
He just keeps sailing right along.
One of my all-time favorite White Sox pitchers.
Pretty amazing because at his age, which is in the mid-40s, he's still a fastball pitcher. It's not near as overwhelming as it was at one point where it was 100, but he still just uses that and uses various movements. That's it.
He can work the fastball better than anybody in baseball, probably. I don't know anybody that's even close to him.
No, great feel, especially when that's your not only pitch, but certainly primary pitch.
Here you go. 2 down. Yeah, nobody can work the fastball in and out. Make it sink, make it maybe a little rise. He used to throw a lot of risers when he was young. Ball would get about 4, 5, 6 feet out in front of home plate, just jump at you.
He also would routinely throw 140 pitches or more.
And every time he used to say, he couldn't say hawk, he'd say honk. I go 9 tonight.
He usually did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. There's Anthony Swarzak loosening up and ready to go. Meantime, James is sailing right along.
Polanco's 1 for 2. Willie, come on, Willie. Can't get there. It's fair ball. So a little duck snort out there.
This one pretty much drops on the line as Willie was fairly deep in left field. He came on and couldn't get there.
There's Rosario. He's popped up to Willie and left and also walked.
'95th pitch on the way, and this probably figures to be the last inning that James pitches.
If you're just tuning in, an inside the park home run last inning by Brian Dozier. There's the strike.
Only runs James has given up this year, and it totals 3, all on solo home runs.
He has been terrific. There's no question about that. Well, it's not like we've been putting an offensive maelstrom on everybody. We won the opener here 2-1. We scored some runs in the final game in Cleveland. Won the game there 2-1. Lost the first game 2-1. And that'll do it. We have completed 6 and we need 1 to tie.
Bring the fun home.
Once again, a very happy Easter to each and all. A loving and a safe one. As we're into the 7th inning here in the finale, the rubber match of this 3-game set. Willie Garcia 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts will start us off. He'll be followed by Sanchez and then Smith, the scheduled hitters. Takes ball 1. Look at this. Yes. Slices it right through. Not hit hard, but he got the job done. Leadoff man aboard.
Promising way to start the 7th is this one. Inside out swing. Didn't get a whole lot of it, but got enough as Dozier was playing pretty much up the middle. This one to his left, no chance as it trickles through.
That's fouled away. In D.C., Bryce Harper hit a 2-out, 2-strike, 3-run homer in the bottom of the 9th. His second homer of the game to win it 6-4. Harper now with 4 home runs on the season.
As good as he is, he figures to have a big bounce back year off what for him was a disappointing year last year.
Pittsburgh beat the Cubs 6-1. Steve told you earlier, Kansas City shuts out the Angels 1-0. Kansas City now 6-6. Angels 6-7. Boston beat Tampa Bay 7-5 at Fenway. Marlins beat the Mets 4-2 down in Florida. Detroit beats Cleveland 4-1 at Progressive Field.
We talk about the disappointing year last year for Harper. He hit 243, and even though he hit 24 home runs, drove in 86. And
there's a little looper, and then it's going to fall. So everybody is safe on board. The first 2 men aboard.
certainly didn't hit it hard. This cutter in on his hands, but good enough to dump it in front of Rosario. And a chance to break through.
Kevin Smith has gone out to center and struck out. Corners at the cut of the grass. Outfield slightly to the right.
Sox pen starting to loosen.
It's popped up and back.
It's fortunate that he was able to ease that one over the head of Castro. Ryan Presley loosening in the pen. He gave up the home run to Davidson that wound up beating them in the first game of the series.
All he's got to do is let that ball fall, and they're going to get a double play, possibly
triple play.
Triple play.
I would think it would have been a triple play because you have the umpires don't defend you on a bunt. There's no infield fly rule, and so if Hector lets it go, especially with Kevin Smith not running, that could have been a triple play.
I have asked a lot of different managers why they don't teach that, and they say, well, they don't want the ball being thrown around.
If your guys can't throw it to the bases, you probably have more trouble than that defense of the bunt would indicate.
All he's got to do is just let it drop. There is protection on a pop-up, but not a bunt. So 1 out, and there's a strike. All right.
We'll watch it again and watch how the defenders shift. Well,
he's not going to get him his second right there, but he's going to get a double play.
Because Polanco was over at third, Dozier was breaking to first. You start a train reaction of force outs if you let it drop.
Well, Polanco probably would have beat Sanchez back over to second base anyway. Man. One and two. Jacob. One time, buddy. Yeah, fine time to get your first major league hit right here.
Twin span is up and going for the first time today, so action in both bullpens.
Count hangs at 1-2.
Fastball has been consistent. He started out throwing it 93 miles an hour. Here, 92 pitches later, he's still throwing 93.
So Jacob well off the plate.
That one looked like it had a piece of the plate. The difference was that Castro wanted it inside, so when you move your glove across the plate to try to buy a strike, many times you're not going to get the benefit of that call, and Kerwin Danley thought it was wide.
Castro did too. He pulled it back.
Yep.
Outfield really shallow. Right and center. And that's hit into center field.
Another straight change. That ball almost gets away. Santiago was in the right spot. He was in the coach's box waiting to see if there would be a throw to third. That ball trickled by Polanco, got by Sano, but not far enough.
So it's up to Leury. Leury 0 for 3, 3 ground outs. Hit the ball very hard leading off the ball game to the shortstop. Then the next 2 times up grounded out to Dozier at second. Down to third, Sano. We get the first 2 men aboard and pop up bunt. Pop up in the center to ground out. 7th inning stretch, they lead at 1-0.
manager certainly appreciates that. He'll leave trailing, but it doesn't diminish what he did. 6 strikeouts, 6 innings, 5 strikeouts. And he had everything going for him again today. Good curveball, good backdoor cutter. And yet another good curveball. That snowed twice. And Shields is done for the day. Replaced by Anthony Swarzak. Comes in the ball game. He'll face the bottom part of the order, and it's a 1-run deficit, so he has to hold him right there. It's been an errorless game, well played on both sides. Both pitchers throwing well. Sox twice have had first and second, nobody out, only to be turned away in both of those innings. And unfortunately, no runs on the board. It happened in the 4th, it happened in the 7th, and there's a look at Anthony Swarzak on for the 3rd time. He has picked up a win.
Shields was just outstanding. Again, he's back. No question. He is back. But you hate to let these well-pitched games like this slip away if we can't come back and get any runs. Or at least get him off the hook. For them, it'll be Buxton, then back to the top of the order with Dozier. Plus the 1 run if you're just tuning in. Tough break for Shields. Ball caromed off the glove. Jacob May trying to make a diving catch behind him. And it carried into center field. By that time, Dozier slid across home plate for the only run of the ball game. So here's Buxton. He's 0 for 2. First pitch strike by Anthony.
Want to keep this one a 1-run game, you'll retire this guy, a speed burner, ahead of the top of the order. This becomes a big out for Swarzak.
Taking some other scores for you. Texas leading Seattle 6-5 in Seattle. That's the bottom of the 6th inning. Arizona leading the Dodgers 2-1. Top of the 6th at Dodger Stadium. And the count 1-2. Rockies leading the Giants 4-3 at AT&T. Top of the 8th inning. Toronto off to a tough start. Baltimore beat them 11-4. Toronto now 2-10. Of course, Donaldson on that DL does not do anything to help that.
Anthony thought he had that fastball. It was, however, just off the plate.
This guy.
That was a good fastball, and Buxton did a nice job of reaching out and spoiling a good pitch. Tommy Canley, just in case. There's a look at Matt Belisle. Long time National League hurler in the American League for the first time. Not how you wanted to draw it up with one of the league's fastest base runners at first. Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And here's our Miller moment, and it is the only run of the ball game. Dozier crushes a slider. Jacob thought he had a shot. It hit off the glove and kicked towards center field. That's all it took for Dozier to run it into An inside the park home run.
Decent lead by Buxton.
Buxton last year in 92 games only stole 10 bases. But as a young player, he's working on technique. He has all the speed you'd need.
If he ever gets technique, he's liable to steal 80 or 90 bases.
So he's got great speed, and they're 7 for 7 in stolen bases this year are these Twins. Buxton has just 1.
Yeah, at the plate's got 5 of those 7. He's 5 for 5.
Nice block. As Kevin shifted to his right, made sure he smothered it, and the ball did not trickle that far away. We'll watch it again. Moves to his right, tries to get his whole body in front, and able to make sure that Buxton stays at first.
Huge gap out there in right center.
Canely and Belisle both loosened up and ready to go if need be. Ricky trying to find a way to, in this case, stop him from scoring and find a way for his ball club to turn on some offense.
All right, boys. Rack them up. Yes. 2 down.
Anthony gets a ground ball that he needs, and it's fairly easy after that. Good solid throw. And Saladino able to get it there, although it was off the mark.
Here's Kepler, a walk, a single, and a pop up to first. Now field straight up, spread out, about equidistant. For our guys in the 8th, Saladino, Abreu, Ivy Garcia. Hopefully a couple more. Matt Davidson. Just foul. shot into right field. And a double play. Looking good. That's here's Sano.
Kevin Smith wanted that fastball up high. He put the target up high. Anthony got the ball down, and Kepler, who's been hitting the ball hard this series with his second hit of the afternoon.
So a couple of strikeouts and a ground out. The ground out was on a 3-0 pitch. Hit it hard right to Leroy Garcia at shortstop. One 6-0 for them. They have stranded 7. No runs, 6 hits, no errors for us. We also have stranded 7. And the count 1-2.
I think Swarzak, originally a member of the Twin organization, he was drafted in the 2nd round. So he was with them for quite some time before finding his way to Cleveland and the Yankees last year.
He gone. And that'll retire the side. We're into the 8th. We need 1 to tie.
eClickLending.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland and rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Boom. Your mortgage just happened. And we got a new pitcher in the ball game. It is Matt Belisle. We've seen him in this series. The venerable right-hander has been around seemingly forever, on for the 6th time. Fine ERA of 2.08.
What a job by Hector Santiago.
Went 7 scoreless.
Came in with a 1-1 mark and a 2.38 ERA. That's not too shabby.
6 strikeouts, no walks. He did hit Saladino.
And here's Tyler. Strikeout to hit by a pitch, and then he lined very hard to Polanco at shortstop. Takes first pitch strike. 19,511. One and two. Check that 0-2 the count.
Lyle's professional career started in 1999. He was with the Reds. That's who originally brought him to the major leagues. Then wending his way to Colorado, where he was there from 2009 through 2014 before heading to St. Louis, Washington, and now first trip to the American League.
One out. A reminder, MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live White Sox baseball. Get White Sox home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, statcast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. It's a great app if you're a baseball fan. Bray looking for his first hit in this series. He's 0 for 10, 0 for 3 today.
This outfield, and it's a wise choice, playing very deep all the way around. You can live with a single, not so much a double.
Going to the count.
Tried to heat him upstairs. He was able to foul it off and stay alive.
One out, 1-2 the count. As Steve told you earlier, an Astro Oakland game at the Coliseum in Oakland rained out.
Give an extra day for Carlos Correa. He was hit by a pitch. They took some x-rays of his hand. There was no break, much to their relief.
Had him 0-2. It is now 3-2. And that hit him.
It's going to be ball 4 or that. He would have probably appreciated ball 4 a bit more. This gets him on the tricep to the left arm.
So here's Avi. Avi 2 for 3. Leadoff single in the second. Leadoff single in the fourth. Twice we have had the first 2 men aboard with nobody out and absolutely could not do anything with it. In case you're also just tuning in, James Shields once again was just outstanding. Avi takes ball 1.
Knocking off the mask of Castro. When Danley goes out, takes a couple of steps to give him a chance to regroup. Let's see if his chin got cut. Doesn't appear to.
2-1.
That one didn't miss by much. It looked like Kerwin Danley started to think about raising that right hand and then said nope, thought it was low.
First and third, Mavi. And a full count. That ball hit hard into right field. Stretch, get over his head. It will. Ivy now is going to have to get back in as Teddy Grossman did a heck of a job making that play and getting it back in. So Ivy continues to swing the hot bat. Runners at the corners and just one out.
The break here for the Twins was that this ball caromed right back at Grossman. Because if it gets hung up under the pads, there's some problems. And because it did get hung up, Ivy had to stay at first base, and wisely so.
So here's Matt. Matt's 1 for 3. Let's do this. Let's get it done right here, boys. Matt took that pitch nicely, and it's ball 1. That's softly. Here he comes. Here he comes, and he will score. And this game is tied at 1 with Ivy moving into second. Yes.
This one just far enough. Buxton reaches across his body and then has to bring it back. Not the best technique for trying to throw out what is the tying run. And not a great throw because the second hop of the ball hit the mound.
No, he misplayed that one all the way around.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
So Ashe was going to come out to hit for Willie Garcia.
Pitch hitting for Willie Garcia, number 25, Cody Ashe.
Cody Ashe.
RBI number 10 for Matt Davidson on a sacrifice fly.
Pick him up, Cody. At least James catches a break there, gets off the hook.
It's a no D, and when the only decision you can get is a loss, you welcome the no decision.
Yeah, when you pitch as well as he did, as one of your teammates, they want you to get off the hook, and they want to try everything they can to get you off the hook.
Well, hitting Abreu, the big break, and he scored the tying run.
And there's a little soft liner caught by Sano, but the Sox get on the board. We're at the bottom of the 8th, tied at 1.
Here it's a tie game, so the game is squarely in his hands. On for the 5th time. ERA of 2.45, 7 big strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings, and he's gotten the ball over the plate. His changeup has been better than we ever remember seeing from him last season, and hopefully that trend continues.
Told Tommy after the game last night, I said, Tommy, you look like a different pitcher out there now. He says, yeah, I feel real good about myself. So that's always a good thing to hear.
Well, the fastball is overwhelming. I mean, he hits triple digits. He was getting anything else over the plate. Now he's been able to do that, although it's a very young season yet.
It's a 1-1 tie. Sox picking up that run. 1 out, hit by a pitch. Avi with a solid single off the right field wall. And the sacrifice fly. We caught a break there from Byron Buxton. So here's Mauer, Grossman, and Castro. There was a little mix-up when Canley came on. He was on the mound, all of a sudden turns around and starts to walk back towards the bullpen.
He was the only pitcher in the neighborhood, however, at that point.
Yeah. Now we're 0 for 3, 1 for 12 in the series. And that's out of play.
Somebody's going to use that change. Got to be careful with it because the defense is playing Mauer as an opposite field hitter. And a changeup is probably the only pitch that Canley throws that he can hit the daylights out of down the right field line or in straightaway right field, because Avi is well around the right center.
That one is 98.
Great example of missing your spot by plenty, and it cost him. Kevin Smith wanted that fastball up face high. He was ahead. He wanted to throw a high fastball by him. Instead, look where the ball winds up. Inside part down where Mauer can drop the head on it, and the go-ahead runs at first base.
A lot of pitchers, they just don't understand how much easier it is to hit a low 100-mile-an-hour fastball. That was 99 versus a high.
Just the world of difference.
Well, gravity, you got gravity in your side as a hitter. A lot easier get that bat down than it is to maintain the altitude on it, so to speak.
Santana, for his first at bat, he was put in defensively in right field. There you see the numbers. He was called on to try to bunt that first one and didn't have any success. Does not have a sacrifice this year.
And the count, 0-2.
Down to Gene Glynn, and taking a strike in a bunt situation does not endear you to your manager.
Now, the same thing holds true with bunting. It's a lot easier to bunt a low fastball than it is one up around your eyes. He gone. 1 out.
That was a good changeup. Faster than a lot of pitchers' fastballs. That's 89 miles an hour. But he's got Santana swinging over the top. His inability to lay a bunt down cost him. Perfect pitch.
Here's Jason Castro. He's 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a fly out to center. Totals on the board identical at 1-7-0. And also each team coming in to this inning has stranded 8. Pretty good pitch, didn't get it.
That one had the whole plate. Kerwin hasn't missed many. That was one of them.
One and one to count.
Castro can't believe that one. But a good break for Canely.
1-2. He gone.
It's exactly where Smith wanted it that time. He called the fastball and motion that he wanted it upstairs, and Tommy was able to get it there and throw it by him. See where the glove is? Just fills the mid up, and Castro down on strikes.
Polanco. 2 of these 7 hits. 5 for 12 in the series.
You're pretty certain that Joe Mauer is not going to try to steal second base, but he's got to get a bigger lead than he's getting because he's 2 steps off the bag.
To another count. Come back and get it. Come on, Tommy. Come back and get it. There's one. Get over there. He will. Good feed. And he is out of the inning. So into the 9th, still tied at 1. Of the Guaranteed Rate Club, while providing your guests with the ultimate all-inclusive White Sox experience. Now, this private club is the best way to entertain clients, employees, friends, or family, and is available for season ticket packages or individual games. So, for more information, call 312-674-1000 and visit whitesox.com/premium seating.
A new pitcher coming to the ball game. It is Brandon Kinsler, who's the closer. He inherited that job when Glenn Perkins went down with arm difficulties last year. Perkins has since had surgery, and now Kinsler is the everyday closer. There you look at the numbers, 3 for 3 in saves. This is not an opportunity to do that. He's on for the 6th time, and he faces the bottom part of the order. He's a sinker baller, throws ground balls. He is not a strikeout closer, but he's been very effective, as those 17 saves from last season and a 3.0 ERA would indicate.
So here's Sanchez. He's 2 for 3, a double and a single. That pitch hit into center field. Pitch one out.
We saw Kinsler in the first game of the series. He gave up a couple of hits, but then he induced Willie Garcia to ground into a double play to get out of the 9th inning.
So here's Kevin. Kevin 0 for 3. Takes first pitch strike. One and one to count. It's 2 and 1. Once again, a reminder, make your plans to be with us tomorrow night. First of 3 from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Derek Holland for us, Jordan Montgomery for them. A couple of southpaws. That game will be over WGN. Sliced. And he can't quite get there to make the play.
Long way to go for Santana. It looked like he's calling for it now. Mauer gives way, and Santana, after calling for it, can't get to it. So there's a break. That's what it'll look like against the Bronx Bombers. Dylan Covey off a very good outing here in his first major league start, trying to follow it up with an equally good outing against a team that's had a few injuries, especially to some of their better hitters.
And the 2-2 pitch to Kevin. As I mentioned, tomorrow's game over WGN, and Tuesday and Wednesday on CSN Chicago. So no. Two down.
You don't hear a lot about him because he's just really starting his career. Miguel Sano shifted back from right field to his natural position of third base, and he has probably one of the top 3 throwing arms in all of baseball.
So here's Jacob. He's 0 for 3 today. Bakes the bunt. He takes the ball.
Not a bad idea, but if he does think about a bunt, a drag bunt in this situation is a bit better, because Mauer is back at first, and they would have no chance if he pushed it by Kinsler.
All right, a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Tied at 1.
Six strong ones, and Swarzak and Canely for an inning each. And now Nate Jones on for the 6th time. ERA a touch over 5. Last time out, he threw it a bit better. I talked with him, and he said he felt he was starting to get some command with his stuff. Command is really what you need. So it's Easter, and that is a good-looking pair of ears.
Rosario 0 for 2 with a walk.
Davidson in close at 3rd to take away the possibility of a bunt. As good a slider as Nate can throw. Biting down and in. Rosario over the top.
All right, count of 1-2.
2 pitches, 2 sliders, 2 strikes.
He did not go. Sorry, Jazz does get a piece of that one.
It's 4 straight sliders. That time he tried to backdoor him, but he fouled it off. First 3 sliders were all down and in.
Gap out there in right center.
I think he quick pitched him and almost took his chin off. So after 4 sliders, he decided to impress upon him that he does have a pretty big fastball. That one almost got him. When you see your life passing before your eyes and a 100-mile-an-hour fastball at your coconut.
That's what Ted Williams said about Herb Score. He said that was the closest, you know, and he was a fighter pilot in the Korean War. In fact, he was John Glenn's wingman. He gone. But he said Herb Score threw a pitch at him one day that he said, I have no idea. He said, how I got out of the way of it. He said, I saw my life pass right in front of my eyes. He said, Score had the best stuff he ever saw.
He did that until Gil McDougall hit him in the eye.
Yeah, Herb told me that was not what.
No, he hurt his arm when he got to the White Sox.
He hurt his arm because he was trying to prove to everybody. He said he snapped off a curveball too fast, too quick in spring training. So inadvertently it was the injury, but not directly. Buxton 0 for 2 with the walk. The youngster out there, Herb Score, was a left-hander with tremendous talent with the Cleveland Indians. Then he pitched for the White Sox. I faced him when he was with the White Sox. One and 2 the count.
Buxton does not have a good sense of the strike zone and will swing at pitches well out.
He gone. 2 down.
Kept the slider down and he got it. Good late movement, good tight spin. Now you're dealing with their most prolific home run hitter who is thinking about hitting the ball out of the ballpark, plain and simple. You go in, you got to go way in. This thing would probably be stay away.
Dozier with that inside to Parker. 1 for 4. Last year, 42 homers, 99 driven in from that leadoff spot.
Yeah, he had a huge year. Dodgers were inquiring about his availability, and the new administration said, sure. What am I bid? Bid wasn't high enough.
High in the right center field. Almost dead away center because Jake was playing way over there. Meanwhile, extra innings, tied at 1.
On for the 5th time. 2.45 ERA. And last time we saw him, he was in relief of Mejia in the first game. He went an inning and 2/3 with the Davidson home run doing him in. 1 hit, 1 run, couple of strikeouts, no walks. Originally in the Boston organization, came over here as a Rule 5 draft. And he's been a good one. He's been very durable out of the pen. And when most of the bullpen had a disastrous year last year, Ryan Presley's year was good.
Top of the order for us here in the top of the 10th. Garcia, Saladino, and Abreu. Outfield straight up, spread out. Leary 0 for 4 with 4 ground balls. 1 to short, 2 to second, 1 to third.
Zach Putnam throwing into pen.
That ball hit hard. Get over his head. It will. Theory now is going to pull up at second with the leadoff double. That's his 4-2 bagger.
That one was not played very well by Santana in right field. Grossman started. Santana came on for him. Made a couple of plays that have not been particularly good. And this one could prove very costly. Took a bad route to the ball. And a 2-base hit results. Go ahead run. Now some execution would be nice.
Well, we got the right man at the plate. Saladino. Tyler 0 for 3 also was hit by a pitch. It's in music and the count 1-0.
Yeah, that generally takes away the bunt. You can't throw that too many times, but it's a reminder.
Yuri Garcia is starting to show why everybody's always said he's got a chance to be a heck of a player. Just looks to third, now goes to first.
He actually looked over there a couple times as if to see if he had a shot, but you really open it up to a huge inning if you don't get him. So then readjusted, got the out. There's a go-ahead run now 90 feet away, and Tyler gets the job done.
Well, in situations like this, Tyler's the best guy on the ball club.
Well,
He's also very good with guys on third, less than 2 out. So the infield in. Abreu looking for his first hit of the series. He's 0 for 10. Jacks it up and takes ball 1. Outfield shading him slightly to the right, gap out there in left center. And Eddie Rosario way off the line and left. That evens counted 1. Not too much. We don't need a home run. We just need some contact and put the ball hopefully in the air deep enough.
We got a pretty good throwing outfield all the way around.
Thank goodness Buxton made that bad throw earlier.
Yep. Bad catch, bad throw.
Big swing. And count 1 and 2.
'98 upstairs, try to throw it by him. But Jose was able to stay alive. That was a pitch, fastball right down the middle.
Yeah, that was the one.
Just a little above thigh high. Very hittable.
Big swing, though.
Yep. It's in a perfect spot.
Big swings like that cause you to pull your head just enough to take it off the ball. Two down.
Good hard slider. No contact.
So it's up to Avi. Avi is 3 for 4 today. Last time up hit a rocket off that right field wall and carried him right back to Grossman, who got in a hurry, held him to a single.
Paul Molitor electing to pitch to the hottest hitter in this lineup, as opposed to going with a very young hitter up next.
That ball hit high and deep into right field. He's back. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Yes. A 2-run bomb, and it's a 3-1 Sox lead. Mercy.
Kind of surprised that he pitched to Garcia, didn't take his chances with Matt Davidson, and Avi burns him. He's been the hottest hitter on this team since the season started, and he crushed that ball to right field. Our Ford home run replay, and Avi got a high fastball, and this a no-doubter.
So here is Matt back through the middle, backhanded, now bobbled. So they're going to give him a base hit. Good. Matt now 2 for 4 with a sacrifice fly.
4 more hits for Avi. His second home run of the year. He's driven in 10. That ties him with Matt Davidson for the team lead.
Well, we talked about it a lot. All my years with the White Sox, he's the closest thing to a 5-tool player we've ever had. And he's just going to get better and better and better. As that is popped up. Actually, but the opposite field. Towering home run by Avi Garcia. We lead it 3-1.
nail it down. 2 for 2 in save opportunities. His stuff has absolutely been brilliant. He picked up a save Friday night, the opener of this series, trying to bookend another save in the final game of the series.
Sox on top 3-1. Avi's second homer. Now has 10 RBIs. That's his 4th career 4-hit game. So here's Kepler. He is 2 for 3, a walk, 2 singles, and a pop-up.
David thought that was a pretty good pitch, and Gordon Danley's telling him it was inside. Kepler looked like he's taking a strike all the way because he's not going to be bunting.
That was a good pitch.
Yep.
Two and one to count. Powerful Miguel Sano on deck. That evens it at 2. He gone.
David's curveball has been magnificent in the early going.
I'm just glad that he came back from that 2-0 count before this guy get up to the plate.
Snapping curveball, late breaking, and Kepler down on strikes for the first time today.
So no 0 for 4, and he feels like he's been mistreated at the plate today. There's a strike by Kerwin. Outfield slightly to the left, gap out there in right center. And the count 0-2.
That was a dandy of a curveball. That one nipped the outside corner, called out twice, and that time he painted the outside corner. So all pretty good pitches.
They were, but he didn't think so.
No, but
He felt differently.
Yeah, he gets an opinion, but it's just not an important one in the grand scheme of things.
He gone.
That time he just got outguessed because he took a fastball on the outer third, and he didn't have any debate about that.
Well, he knew it.
Called out 4 times today, and just walk on back. You got outguessed, Miguel.
So here's Mauer. Infield. Leary on the second base side, first base side of second, I should say. Now goes right back up the middle. Outfield well around to the left. And there's ball 1. Three runs, 10 hits, no errors for our guys. 1 run, 7 hits, no errors for their guys here in the bottom of the 10th inning with 2 out. 2-0. This is the second extra inning game for us. We lost the first one. This is the first extra inning game for the Twins. That's strike. Three-one pitch. All right, this ball game is over. So the Sox come up with a run in the 8th to tie it, and then the opposite field. High towering drive off the bat of Avi Garcia's 4th hit of the ball game, and we win it 3-1. So we take the rubber match of this series as we did in Cleveland.
Nate Jones will win this one, and David Robertson will go 3 for 3 in saves. And Ryan Presley, who came into this series with no record, will leave with an 0-2 record, having lost the first and the third games. So a good job by the pen. Swarzak, Canely, Jones, and Robertson following up James Shields, who had his 3rd of 3 outstanding starts. And the Sox head to New York over 500 at 6-5.
Well, the pitching has just been phenomenal. The pitching has been absolutely sensational. That's all you can see. As Avi hopefully coming over to other times on a getaway day, it's tough to get somebody to do an interview.
James Shields had everything going for him. I mean, he was masterful.
Well, he's back. It's just that simple. He's back. He's throwing the strikes. You mentioned the curveball. He's got command of that. So it's one of those situations now where you get the pitching we've been getting. Gave up 1 run today, and right now let's go down on the field too. Avi, nice going. Congratulations, big guy.
Thank you, my man. Thank you.
High towering opposite field drive, and looked like you didn't try to do too much with it. Just put the bat on it, and poof, there it was.
Yeah, I just trying to do my job because that pitcher throw really hard. So when you get big with some guy like that, you're gonna miss the fastball. Like I missed the first one. He throw down the middle. So I just trying to do too much, and I just put a good swing.
Well, this is your 4th career 4-hit game, and you just continue to put the bat on the ball, going all over, using all the parts of the field.
Yeah, I think I just don't try and do too much. Like I say, I'm trying to swing strikes and work my account. Trying to see what the pitcher doing to me, and I got Pito in front of me, so I'm just see what they throwing. So I just focus and play hard every day.
Well, you guys are getting some wins now. You're 6-5, and it's fun playing behind good pitching like we're getting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's big when we have our pitcher throwing well. So I just thank God for that, and we just gotta keep it rolling.
Don't stop now, big guy.
Thank you, my man.
All right, Avi Garcia, what a start he has had to the 2017 season. All right, so my partner Steve Stone, our director Jim Angier, our Hall of Fame director Jim Angier, our producer John Walgren, our associate producer Chris Kamka, the executive producer Jim Corno Jr., our very fine technical manager Mark Harper, also Florida. Brad Zami down in the truck, Chris Trudeau, Jim Petros, Teresa Day. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody, from Target Field. Coming up next is Subaru Postgame Live. You've been watching White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago.